I think as we process that powerful movie and pause for reflection, I would like to thank Mongrel Media and director Ben Hania for giving us this powerful and moving story. I would now like to take the opportunity to invite Dr. Beyhan Farhadi, our moderator tonight. Dr. Farhadi is an assistant professor of education policy and equity at OISE. Her research includes online education and resistance to neoliberal restructuring. Honed by her many years of experience working as a secondary school teacher, as well as in community groups and informal education spaces, Dr. Farhadi is a multidisciplinary researcher and a vocal activist for equity. She is a brilliant and generous activist scholar and has graciously agreed to anchor our conversation tonight. Thank you, Dr. Farhadi.
Testing. Hi, everybody. Lovely to be with you this evening. It's my pleasure to introduce Kaouther Ben Hania, who's a critically acclaimed director and writer originally from Tunisia. She studied at the École d'Arts et du Cinéma in Tunisia, then studied at La Famille and the Sorbonne in Paris. Her films honor her homeland, and her filmography have drawn praise internationally. She directed her first short film, La Brèche, in 2004, followed by Me, My Sister and the Thing in 2006, Wood in Hand in 2013, and Shakes Watermelons in 2016. In 2014, she directed The Blade of Tunis, followed by her documentary, Zainab Hates the Snow, 2 years later. She has directed many award-winning films, among them Beauty and the Dogs, which was selected for the Cannes Film Festival and chosen as the Tunisian entry for the Best Foreign Language Film at the 91st Academy Awards. Her 2020 film, The Man Who Sold His Skin, was also nominated for the Best International Feature Film at the 93rd Academy Awards. Thank you. Hi, so which way should I be facing? Could I just get a little face? Hi, such a pleasure to meet you. Can you... Thank you. So thank you so much for your work, really incredibly moving. And in reviewing kind of the conversations you've had about this film, it stood out to me the way that you described how you worked between the frontiers of genres, between documentary and fiction, and to use those tools to capture really the layers of such a complex story, to capture contradictions in character, and in a way that honors the experience of Ulfa and her family. So how, I'm curious about how the medium of film makes this possible, to tell the story in a way that you couldn't otherwise, and in the way that you do.
Yeah, I mean, I was lost before finding this form, because when I started long time ago, it was in 2016, I was thinking about a fly on the wall documentary, maybe filming the mother and the two youngest daughter, and quickly understood that it's not enough to tell this story, which is a multi-layered story, where the past plays an important role. So for me, it was important to find something to bring the past here, to summon the past in a way. And we all know that in documentaries, there is this cliche called reenactment, well used by TV, also by cinema, and I don't like this cliche. So I thought maybe I should hijack it use it in a way where we can bring a memory to the present. We can relive the past, and we can also question it. We can also think about it and do this kind of introspective work with the real character where they go through this past, they discuss it. And for this, I needed actors to reenact, but also to ask questions about the motivation, about the past. So when I thought about this form, I thought maybe it's good to have something where I question the frontier between genre, between documentary and fiction, but also where I can question the memories, bring them. So I wanted something where the form is innovative, but without eating the story. I wanted the opposite. I wanted that the form give me the best possibilities to tell this story.
And when you're discussing innovation, it made me think about the kind of experimentation that you did in this film. And I was curious about the way that the risks that you took distinguished it from previous work that you've done.
I think I took those formal and storytelling-wise risks because I already did other movies before where I experimented in different ways things. For example, my first feature film was a mockumentary, which is a fake documentary. I was with non-actors, and the main idea was to shoot it like it was a documentary. And then the movie that you mentioned, Zaire Pace the Snow, which is actually the only movie I shot between Tunisia and Canada. It's a Canadian story of immigration. Was a movie about a mother-daughter relationship, two-sister relationship. So it's a documentary, but it's a documentary about intimate stories. So because I did those movies, I thought that I'm maybe mature enough to tackle this story, which was, in the beginning, I was really scared because it's a minefield, it's complicated, and you have different layers. You have their intimate story, you have the political layer, you have the religious layer, you have very different, the actors, the real characters, the real life versus acting. So it was, yeah, because I already experimented some of this stuff that I felt comfortable to do this movie. Not comfortable, but I felt I should be courageous to do it because I was scared in the beginning.
Thank you. And you spoke about the sort of exception to your filmmaking, and a lot of your storytelling is based in Tunisia, right? You could tell stories about any place, about anybody, but you decided to tell the story about Ulfa and her daughters. Can you talk more about Tunisia as a setting in the film, specifically, but also broadly throughout your work?
Yeah, actually, I did all my movies in Tunisia except two. My first documentary in Paris and my previous feature film. I mean, it's shot in Tunisia, but the story is not a Tunisian story. But I mean, it's normal. I'm from Tunisia. I have this deep connection. And I think in my country and even in the region, when we talk about the Arab countries, there are so many untold stories, wonderful stories, because it's a region where you have conflict, and conflict is good for cinema. You can tell wonderful stories. So I feel like there are so wonderful human stories that I need to be told. So that's why I keep going back to Tunisia all the time.
And when you talk about sort of stories that need to be told, right? I think about how powerful stories are, how sacred they are, how they can offer both a window and a mirror to the audience. And the question I was really thinking about was how, you know, this has been shown to audiences in a diverse range of places. And I was wondering what you hoped they would sort of take from it. How would you imagine they honor the story you're telling, and what impact do you hope that this film has?
I don't know, because people are very different. I think that I mean, when you are a filmmaker, you do your best so that your intention or what you felt is perceived and shared with the audience. This is what we do, filmmaker. We like want the audience to be as emotional as us, as me when I was doing this movie. So maybe if I think about something that cinema do very well is empathy, you know. Cinema gives us the possibility to go and to live through the life of other person that don't look like us, and maybe we have prejudgment about them. We can think about so many things, but the cinema gives us the possibility to live through their life, to see them as complex human being, not one-sided cliche. And this is what is wonderful with cinema.
And before I turn it over to the audience, and sort of to follow up on that answer that you gave in terms of just sort of having openness to the range of feedback that you get given the circulation it has, I was really I found it great how curious you were about the feedback you get from your audience, and I suspect since it's had you know, the number of viewings that it has, you've received feedback. Have you heard anything in response that has been affirming, surprising, or sort of, you know, noteworthy to you?
I don't know. I mean, in general, I have the same feedback all over the places, all over the cities. I think what was surprising me in every screening, I always at the end there is one young girl crying, you know, so moved by the movie. So I don't know if there is one lady in the theater crying, but I always notice this, and it's like how to say, very moving for me that I can touch people in this way.
So this is a really lovely transition, I think, to the audience, and any questions that the audience might have that they want to ask. And there's a mic coming around as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for making this film. I just had a question about the process of filming the movie and how that kind of challenged you and changed you both as a person and as a filmmaker.
So I guess your question is about my internal journey. It's not about the craft.
Yes, yeah, both as a person and as a filmmaker.
Yeah, I mean, I keep going back to documentary because of one thing that is very important for me, that I feel that we human beings, we are wired in our brain to be prejudgmental because we don't love the uncertainty. So I do documentary because it's the terrain of uncertainty, and it defies all my preconceived ideas and my prejudgment. So when I started thinking about this story, I had a lot of answers why the girls left, about, you know, so many things. And little by little, because to do a movie, you have to get rid of your prejudgment, but you have them anyway. And little by little, learning to know Ulfa and her daughters, and being amazed by, at the same time, the tragedy they went through, but their capacity to still laugh about it, to be still strong, and to be those incredible women. So I think I was humbled. And this is, again, is linked to documentary, because when I do fiction, for example, I write the scene, I think about it, and then I gather crew and actors to execute what I have in mind. But in documentary, it's the other way around. It surprises all the time. It's not scripted, so you are challenged all the time as someone on control, because I'm the storyteller at the end. I mean, I'm the one who will tell this story of those women. So being all the time surprised, challenged, and amazed also was a great thing that keep me alive and keep me humble also to think about human nature and human being, and it make me a better filmmaker when I write fiction, because I think about all those surprises and tense moments.
Thank you. We're just going to the next question.
Hi, you have such a incredible vision for the way that you chose to portray this story that was so moving and powerful and unique. I was definitely moved to tears. I'm not a young girl in the audience, but an older girl. It really moved me, and I'm really curious to know what's next in view for you. Like, what vision do you have of where you're going now?
You mean my next feature,
Yes, yeah. What are you thinking about doing next? I mean, I know you have the Oscars coming up too, but
yeah, exactly. I'm in Palm Spring, by the way, in the festival. I'm in my hotel room, and I received those flowers from you guys, so thank you very much. This is really nice. I was like, wow, they are class. So yeah, we are doing the Oscar campaign right now to see if we will be nominated. The movie is shortlisted in the documentary branch and also in the international feature. So I have a project that I hope I'll start shooting before the end of the year. It's a fiction because I'm trying to do documentary, then a fiction, then documentary. So it's a fiction, and it's a fiction set in Tunisia again. It's about how people like to believe in legend or in stuff, then recognizing the facts or the gap between how legend start and how people embrace it to feel better in their life. This is mainly the story, and the title is "You Shall Not Make an Image," because it's also about images.
okay. Thank you very much.
I've been thinking that the film is a bit of it's a form of therapy for the family, and in a way an opportunity. You provided them with an opportunity to revisit, see themselves reenacting, or see themselves being acted by someone else. And I almost don't know. I'm sure there might be a form of therapy that this resembles. My question is, how is the family doing now? My sense would be that they're closer. There's a deeper understanding, and as you said, not only empathy from the audience, but from each other.
This is exactly what happened. I am very happy that you said this, because maybe you felt it in the movie. But after this shooting, I mean, during the shooting, I was witnessing it. Their relationship went better and better because the girls, for the first time, they told stuff to their mother, and she was listening because we were there. There was something about catharsis, doing this movie, and we felt that all of us in the crew, behind the camera, and the family as well. We started the movie journey at Cannes Film Festival in the main competition. So we did together with Ulfa and her two daughters and all the actresses the red carpet and being in Lumiere Cinema. And since they are traveling all over the world with the movie, they are very proud of the movie, even if it's difficult, but they are really, their first reaction when they saw the movie, you gave us a voice. So for them, it was very important to tell this story.
Thank you.
We'll take one last question.
I don't actually have a question. I guess it's more of a thank you. I'm probably gonna cry, but I'm gonna try and get it out of my my brain before I do. So bear with me, please. I'm one of 3 daughters, and we lost my oldest sister to cancer when she was 30. And I just want to thank you for just this beautiful opportunity to reflect on the beauty and complexity of sister relationships. And I just was watching and going, oh my goodness, imagine if I could have this kind of experience where an actress was picked who reminded me so much of my sister, like the ones that you found reminded the girls of theirs, and what an incredible experience that would be. And so just wanted to thank you. It really allowed me to reflect and connect with my sister and with the relationships that sisters can have, and I just deeply appreciated it. So I just wanted to say thank you.
It's me who should thank you. Thank you very much for sharing this with me. It moves me a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time and for the work you did with this film, which was so carefully done, and the I think the kind of curiosity from the audience and the audiences that it has circulated to sort of demonstrate that kind of impact. And I am passing it to Richard. Okay, Principal Richard. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. I'm Richard Messina, and I have the privilege of being the principal of the lab school at the Dr. Jackman Institute of Child Study. I want to thank you all for coming here tonight. What a fantastic discussion. Our heartfelt appreciation to Director Kaouther Ben Hania. We wish you success in your journey as you're showing this film. It is a very powerful and transformative piece, and so thank you very much. And to Dr. Beyhan Farhadi for joining us and sharing your valuable insights. We have flowers in Palm Springs, and now we have flowers in Toronto. So thank you all for being part of this evening in support of the Dr. Jackman Institute of Child Study. Your presence and contributions to the Diana Rankin Muncaster Family Tuition Support Fund helps us to ensure that the laboratory school at the University of Toronto has the diversity it needs. We believe that diversity is a moral imperative. As a lab school, it's important that we have the diversity, the beautiful diversity that is reflected in our city for our research and for the purpose of our teacher education program. But as a school, we believe that everyone benefits from diversity, and a true education has all forms of diversity. Unfortunately, some kinds of diversity require us to fundraise, and that is thanks to you, your contribution today, and perhaps you might be inspired to make more contributions on your way out, help us to ensure that we have children who would not normally be able to attend the laboratory school. A school that allows us to learn from children so that we can share what we understand to be the best way to educate children with public school educators. I want to thank you all again for this wonderful experience. This is unbelievable that we can make this connection work. So a huge thank you to everyone involved, in particular to Risa Barkhouse, who scheduled and rescheduled this event. Thank you for your patience and all of the organization behind the scenes making this work. Again, thank you, everyone. We hope that you travel home safely. Today is the first day back at school for many of us, if there are teachers from public schools or independent schools. Bravo, you're awake still, but we should get to bed because the children are going to be right back tomorrow. Thank you again, everyone, and good night. Thank you.